Welcome viewers. So in this lesson we are taking integration by partial fraction. Okay, now it's not difficult at all, and I hope you have viewed or watched the previous video where we started from integration and then integration by substitution. So this is what an update from that. Now we are taking integration by partial fraction. Now let's recall when we want to talk about the partial fraction, that is when you can be able to what? Decompose a rational expression into a partial fraction. Now if you can be able to do that, then you can also be able to integrate these functions. Now, per how the question look, it means that these are what? Rational expressions. Now we are going to what? Decompose this into what? Partial fractions. When we can now get our partial fractions, then we can now integrate. So we are going to employ what? Two steps. Number one, we are going to what? Decompose this into partial fraction, and number two, we are now later going to what? Integrate these partial fractions. All right, so let's take the first one. We have what? The integral of x plus 5 all over x squared plus 4x plus 3 dx. So just as I said earlier, let's take the function first, okay, so that we can what? Decompose it into partial fractions. So let's see, we have what? X plus 5 all over x squared plus 4x plus 3. Now this, let's decompose this denominator. Actually, we can be able to take it that. All right, so let's recall, when we have this, how can we decompose this? We know that this denominator is what? Is a quadratic function. So let's just recall something. Okay, this is what we have: x squared plus 4x plus 3. So this is the coefficient of x, and then this is what? The coefficient of x squared is what? 1, and then this is what? Our constant. Now let's see the factors of 3, which is the constant. That when we add them, it will give us what? The coefficient of x over here, or it will give us whatever we have over here. But when we multiply them, it will give us what? Our 3. So let's pick the factors of 3 to be what? Just 3 and 1. Okay, so I'm having 3, 1. Okay, this 3, 1, we know that 3 plus 1 will give me 4, and then 3 times 1 will give me 3. So I'm satisfied. Okay, so let's break it down. We have x squared plus what? Now I'm going to replace this with what? X plus what? 3x plus 3. Right, we are just breaking it down. Okay, so what do we do? Let's group like terms. We are grouping like terms. Now in this, we can factor out x here. We factor out x, we are having what? We are having x plus 1, right? Here too, we can factor out x. So what do we have? We have what? X plus 1. So how can we now go about this? We now have x plus 3, x plus 1. Okay, now this that we have, it means that we can re-simplify this, the whole denominator, into this form. So let's now consider this for it. Okay, so we are just recalling. So I mean, this is now our denominator. So we now have what? X plus 5 all over x plus 3, x plus 1. Okay, let me write my plus 4. X plus 1. So now partial fraction. We know that we are having what? Two factors here. Okay, so this, we can now give them what? Two variables. So we are having what? This should be equivalent to a over, okay, a over what? X plus 3 plus what? B over x plus 1. All right, now this that we have, let's find what? The LCM. Let me take away this. Let's find the LCM. Now the LCM of this is what? So we can get our LCM to be what? X plus 3, x plus 1. So these are LCM. Common this. What do we have? Now how many times will the denominator go into this LCM? This, we know we cancel this. Alright? So will remain what? X plus 1. So x plus 1 is now coming to multiply what? A. So my A times x plus 1 plus my B. Alright? Now, the B is what? X plus 1. When it comes into this, we know that the x plus 1 will take it away. And then remaining what? X plus 3. That's good. So we have x plus 3. Okay. Now this that we have, we can now equate it to this, and then we find what? The possible values for our constant, which are A and B. Okay. So what do we now have? We are having what? X plus 5 all over x plus 3, x plus 1, all equivalent to the same thing here, which is, alright, so let me clean that part. Which is going to be what? A into bracket x plus 1 plus B into bracket x plus 3. So all over what? X plus 3, x plus 1. Alright. So how do we do so that we get our possible values for the constant? So let's equate this to this, okay? So we are now having what? X plus 5 is equal to A into bracket x plus 1 plus B into bracket x plus 3. Alright, so this is what we are finally having. So let's try to solve this equation and then get the values for A and B. Now, what is the concept, or what is the idea? We know that we can give a value to x, that will run through all, and then we can 0 1 and then later 0 the other. So let's think of maybe giving, let x to be something like minus 1. Okay, now if x is minus 1, we are having what? Minus 1 plus 5 giving me what? A into bracket minus 1 plus 1. Do you see it? Plus B into bracket minus 1 plus 3. Okay. Alright. Now this that we are having, we know for sure, and that was our target, that we want to break this guy down to 0, so that every element over here will be 0. Okay. So this will give me what? This is 4.
Don't go out of range.
This is equal to into bracket 0. Now this will now be what? Minus 1 plus 3. This will be what? Plus 2B. That is fine. Now it means that from here we can quickly get our B. Alright, so it means that my 4 is equal to 2B. Divide through by 2, divide through by 2. My B finally is 2. Have you seen? So I've gotten what? The value for one of them constant, where my B is equal to 2. Alright, so let's see, what do we now do to get the value for, so let me still bring the equation. You have x plus 5 giving me what? A into bracket x plus 1 plus B into bracket x plus 3, right? Okay. Now in this, what do we have? We know that, let's try to make our B 0. So what do we do? Let our x be equal to minus 3. So we know that when x is minus 3, this will be 0, right? Minus 3 plus 3 is 0. So the whole B here will be 0. So my x is minus 3. So minus 3 plus 5 is equal to A into bracket minus 3 plus 1 plus B into bracket minus 3 plus 3. Okay. Now here we are having this, okay? Minus 3 plus 5, which will give you 2. So my 2 is equal to, this is definitely 0. And this is what? Minus 3 plus 1 which is minus 2 into bracket a. And this is what? Plus b 0. So that is 0. So we can now have our 2 is equal to minus 2a, where we divide through by minus 2, and then we are finally having our a to be what? Minus 1. Okay, so it means that my a is equal to minus 1. Okay, so we have now gotten the value for the constants a and b. If you have gotten the value for the constant, it means that we can rewrite the whole function. So let's put it here. It means that my integral of a over x plus 3, this is plus b all over x plus 1 should be equal to the integral. Here we know that we have now simplified this into this term, so that is how come we are having the integral of this. Okay, now this integral, we are now having that we know the values for the constants a and b, so let's replace them. Okay, so this is the same as a, which is what? Minus 1. So integral of minus 1 over x plus 3 plus what? The b is what? 2. So 2 over x plus 1 all dx. This we can still write as the integral of minus 1 over x plus 3. Okay, so we are just trying to break it down. X plus 3, and this is plus the integral of 2 over x plus 1. Alright, so this that we are having, let's simplify each term. Okay, so this is giving me what? You can take your jotter and note this down, that wherever you have, when you are integrating a function, let's say, so let's put it here. Okay, when you are integrating a function, let's say the integral of 1 over x, okay, this will give you what? Ln x. When you are asked to integrate a function like maybe 2 over 3x plus 1, the integral of this, alright, that this will give you what? 2 ln what? 3x plus 1. Okay, so we are going to use that quality or that property to define this. So the integral of this, so mind you, this is going to be what? Plus some constant c, this also plus some constant c. Okay, so here too is going to be plus some constant c. So plus the constant c, let's see, we are having what? Minus 1 ln, the ln actually is log, okay, logarithm, ln what? We are having what? X plus 3. This is also plus 2 ln into bracket x plus 1. Alright, so this is what we are having plus our c. Now, so this is how you'll be able to integrate an integration with what? Partial fraction. Now, I told you that the first step is to break this down into the partial fraction before later you now integrate it. So let's go straight. Let's try breaking our denominator down. Okay, so let's see, we are having what? X squared with minus 3 and 2. So the factors are x minus 2 and x minus 1. So we are having what? The integral of 4x plus 1 all over x squared minus 3x plus 2. Okay, so the common factors of this denominator is going to be let's say a over x minus 2 plus b over x minus 1. Okay, so that is what we are going to get. It means that when you get that, we can now rewrite the whole this now so that we can get what the values for our constants, which are a and b. So let's see, we can now have what we get our LCM, where our LCM is going to be x minus 2 into bracket x minus 1. Okay, and then we know that the x minus 2 will cancel this x minus 2, so what we multiply it is what? X minus 1. So it means a is multiplying x minus 1. Now x minus 1 into this, we know that this will cancel this, so it will remain b multiplying x minus 2. Okay, so we now try a way of getting what? The values of our constants. So we equate it to this numerator when we are having 4, let me put it here, when we are having 4x plus 1 to be equal to a into bracket x minus 1 plus b, okay, b into bracket x minus 2. Okay, now what is the idea? How can we zero any of this? Let's make our x to be what? Positive 1. If x is positive 1, let x be equal to 1, positive 1. If x is positive 1, we are having what? 4 into bracket 1 plus 1. This should give me what? A into bracket 1 minus 1 plus b into bracket 1 minus 2. Okay. Now, this that we are having, we know that this will definitely boil down to 0. And then we are having 4 plus 1, which is what? 5. So let me put my 5 4. Now, this will now give us what? This will now be a multiplying 0 plus, this is 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is what? Minus 1. So minus b. It means that what? Minus b. Okay, let me rewrite it. Let me rewrite it here to be what? My 5 is equal to minus b, where my b is now equal to a minus 5. Alright? So here, I can put it here that my b is equal to minus 5. So let's try to see how we can be able to get our a. So let me take this portion off. Okay. So let's see. How can we get our a? We know that we can break this guy to also down to 0 by letting what? X to be what? Positive 2. You see the idea? If x is positive 2, we can, if x is positive 2, the whole of this will now get to 0. If it is 0, then it will multiply b to also what? Be 0. Then our a can be singled out. Okay? So this is going to be, let x to be positive 2. So it means that I have what? 4 plus 2, right? Positive 2. This is plus 1. Let me take it off. This is going to be a into bracket 2 minus 1 plus b 2 minus 2. Okay, so we've done what? Substitution. After this substitution, we now have 4 times 2 is what? 8 plus 1, 9. So 9 is equal to 2 minus 1, positive 1. So we are having what? A to bracket 1. This is now giving me what? 2. Sorry, 0. So you know my b is definitely going to be 0. And then I'm now going to have my 9 to be equal to what? A. As simple as that. You've now gotten the value for a. So it means that my a is positive 9. Now we've gotten the values for the constant. So we can now have our integral written as the integral of 4x plus 1 all over x minus 2 x minus 1, which is now equal to the integral, okay, the integral of a, which is 9, right? So we are having 9 over x minus 2. My b is what? Minus 5. So minus 5, all right? Let me put plus 5 all over x minus 1, x minus 1. Okay, so now let's try to integrate that. That is the same as the integral of 9 over x minus 2, all right, plus the integral of minus 5, alright, minus 5 over x minus 1. From our previous question, we learned that, so the whole of this will be of what? Dx. Okay? So from our previous question, we learned that whenever we have we have the integral of 1 over x, that is equal to what? Ln x. So the same thing applying here, where we are having what? This is what? Plus some constant c. Okay? So here we are having what? 9 ln x minus 2, right? 9 ln x minus 2, and then this is minus, okay? So this is going to be minus 5 ln of what? X minus 1 plus some constant c. So as easy as that, you are done integrating the second one. Now you can pause the video and then try the third one, okay, to perfect your skills. One, we are to integrate this improper fraction. So if it is an improper fraction, number one, how do we even know that it's an improper fraction? You realize that the powers of x for the numerator is greater than that of the denominator. Okay, so since it's greater, what do? You have to divide. This is dividing this. Okay, so we are having x squared plus x minus 2. What is dividing the whole of, let me write this up. Okay, it's dividing the whole of x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 7. All right, so this is dividing this. So let's take it step by step. When x squared divide x cubed, what do you have? You have only x. Okay, so this is going to be what? X. So x multiplying x squared will now give me back what? My x cubed. All right, then this x, let me put my x cubed. Well, I'm having x cubed. All right, this x multiplying another x here will now be what? X squared. So we are having a plus x squared, right? Now x multiplying another minus 2 here will give me what? Minus 2x. So I drop down what? My minus 7. So what do? I have to subtract. X cubed minus x cubed will give me what? 0. So this is 0. 2x squared minus x squared, that is just like 2 minus 1. That will give me what? X squared, right? Minus x minus minus 2. It's just like minus x minus minus 2x. So this is turned to what? Plus. So indirectly it's just a minus x plus 2x, which is what? X. So this is what? Plus x. I drop down what? My minus 7. Alright? Okay, so let me take this here so that I just drop it so that it will not confuse anybody. Okay, so now here, how many times will x squared go into x squared? It will go into it one time. So this is what? Plus 1. Now 1 times x squared is what? X squared. 1 times x will be what? Plus x. 1 times minus 2 will be what? Minus 2. Now when we subtract, what are we going to get? This will give me 0. This also give me 0. This is given what? Minus 5. So that is what? Minus 5. It means that we are having our remainder to be minus 5. So what we are finally getting is, it means that it enters into it what? X plus 1 times. X plus 1 times. Remainder, so what is remaining is what? Minus 5 over x squared plus x minus 2. So this becomes now our remainder. Okay, so if this is our remainder, what do we do? It means that we can rewrite the whole of this, okay, into x plus 1 minus 5 all over x squared, alright, x squared plus x minus 2 dx. So this is what we are having. But now we know that this, we can split it. Splitting this, we will now be having what? the integral of x plus 1. So we are separating them. The integral of x plus 1. Later, we can now add it to the integral of minus 5 all over x squared plus x minus 2. Okay, so we are getting it in two folds. Okay. Now, if we are getting this, it means that we can integrate this separately. So when we integrate this, it means that it's giving me, we know this, guys, okay? So this is going to be what? X, this is going to be what? 1 plus 1, alright? That is going to be 2 all over 2. This is going to give me just plus x. So it means that when I integrate this guy here, this is what I'm getting. So I'd have to put it one side and then focus on these guys. Okay? So let me clean here. And then put our guy here, which is x squared over 2 plus x. Okay, x squared over 2 plus x. Now, plus the integral of minus 5 all over x squared plus x minus 2. So here, we know that now before we have to what? Reduce our denominator. Let me put my x well. So now let's just focus on the rational expression, trying to turn it into a partial fraction before later we now integrate them. Okay, so let's just take this part just as usual we've been doing. All right, so we are now taking minus 5 over x squared plus x minus 2. So let's see this that we have. Let's try to get the common factors for x squared plus x minus 2. We have x squared. This is going to be x squared and minus 2. X minus 1, x plus 1. Okay, so if you break this down, it's still going to give us, let me take this guy off here. Okay, so we are getting minus 5 over x squared plus x minus 2 to be equivalent to a over, well, we know that the factors that we've gotten, they are going to give you what? X plus 1 and then x minus 2, right? Now it's going to be x minus 1, if you do it well, x plus 2. So you can figure it out yourself. Those are the values you are going to get. Okay, so here we know that we are going to get a over 1 of this, which is x minus 1 plus b over what? X plus 2. Now why do we do that? Because we know that we are getting what? 2 common factors for the denominator. Okay, so now in that we get our LCM as usual as we do, and then we do a cross multiply. So we are going to get our minus 5 is going to give us a into bracket x plus 2 plus b into bracket x minus 1. Okay, now in this, let's try to 0 each. Let x be equal to minus 2. Okay, now if x is minus 2, what are we having? We have minus 5 giving me what? A minus 2 plus 2 plus b minus 2 minus 1. Okay, if it is giving me this, we know this guy is going to 0, so we have minus 5 into bracket a, minus 5 equals a into bracket 0. This is going to what? Minus 3b. Okay, so it means that over here we are having minus 5 is giving me what? Minus 3b. Where we divide through by minus 3, here 2 by minus 3, the minus cancel. Where we are having our b, alright? We are having our b to be what? 5 over 3. So our b is finally 5 over 3. So I can write it here that b is equal to what? 5 over 3. Now let's try to make it and get our a. Okay, getting our a then we can make b 0 by letting what x to be what positive 1 plus 1. If the x is plus 1, we are having what minus 5 is equal to a into bracket 1 plus 2 plus b into bracket minus 1. Sorry, yes, okay, plus 1. It's still the same thing, okay? So we know that that will give us 0. So I'm just having minus 5 is equal to what? 3a. Where my a is going to be what? Minus 5 over 3. So it means that my a over here is what? Minus 5 over 3. So a is minus 5 over 3. Okay. So if you have gotten that, it means that we are almost there, right? So let's substitute. We are now going to have the integral of minus 5 over x squared plus, alright, x squared plus x minus 2. Give me what? The integral of 5 over 3, and then we know that let's put it this way, 5 over 3, and then it is what? X plus 2. Okay, this is what? X plus 2, and then this is plus our b, sorry, our a is minus, so let's put our minus there, minus 5 over 3, and then our a is what? 5 over 3. Sorry, our b is 5 over 3. So that is going to be 5 over 3 x minus 1. Okay. So here, we know that we can factor out what? Minus 5 over 3. So when you take minus 5 over 3 out, we are going to get minus 5 over 3 integral of 1 over x plus 2. Alright? This is also what? 5 over 3, then integral, alright, the integral of 1 over x minus 1. Okay, so here, let me write my 5 4. So here, you know that this is going to be giving what? Ln x plus 2, alright? So, minus 5 over 3, ln of x plus 2, the same here, this is going to be plus 5 over 3, ln of x minus 1. Okay, so that giving us this, what we'd have to think of is that we have our previous integration to the x squared over 2 plus x. Okay, so we are going to add this to it. So we are arranging that. We are going to get our, so this is going to be, let's bring the positive sign first. It's going to be plus 5 over 3 ln of x minus 1 minus 5 over 3 the ln of x plus 2 plus some constant c. Okay, here we are having the ln. We can put the ln into the same bracket and see if there's something we can do about them. But here lies the case, we know that using the rules of logarithm, whenever a log is dividing another log, we can actually put, so if they are subtracting, it means that what? We can divide them. Okay, so if we can divide them, then we can now have our x squared over 2 plus x. This is going to be plus, first let's factor out 5 over 3 out. So we're having 5 on 3 ln of, this is x minus 1, right? This is minus, so it means that they are subtracting. But let's see, this is going to be ln of x minus 1, alright, minus ln of x plus 2 plus some constant c. Let's take this guy over here. So having that, we are going to get what? Let me put my x here. Well, we are going to get x squared on 2 plus x, right? Plus 5 on 3 ln of x minus 1 all over x plus 2 plus some constant C. So you are finally done integrating the third one. So I want to remind you, if you haven't subscribed, do well to subscribe